Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Life Support. We're your hosts. I'm Danielle,
I'm Dominique.
and today we will be doing the second part of our new series that we started.
Yeah.
As we've started placements in medical school, we're going to sort of catalogue our journey through different blocks, different placement areas, and this is the second part. We're going to talk more about our second block that we started.
Yeah, so this is our surgery block, so we're going to go into more detail, and like the last episode, if you didn't watch it, we're going to be categorizing it and kind of ranking it a little bit on our clinical environment, social aspect, and teaching. Just sort of give you guys a bit of a debrief as to how that's gone. But yes, before we get into that though, make sure to check out our social media pages. Follow us on Instagram and on TikTok. Like our stuff, like our posts, our stories, share it. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment, give us some ratings. If you're listening on podcast providers, Apple, Spotify,
that's it for now.
That's it for now. Then make sure to leave a comment, subscribe, and review. Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, should we get into it? Last where we left off, we had talked about our first block, which for both of us was our junior medicine block.
Yeah.
We both did them. You did it in Ayr, I did it in Paisley.
Yeah.
And we sort of touched on our second block, which is here at the Royal Infirmary in Glasgow. We're both doing junior surgery. So as always, we're going to talk about it in our restructure. But before we do that, I guess we can touch on general aspects of it.
Yeah.
So how have you found it so far?
I've actually really enjoyed it. So I feel like everyone knows this by now. I do think I want to do surgery. I don't know why, maybe I'm crazy, but I'm quite interested in it. So it's been really fun getting more exposure to being in theatre, sort of seeing surgical conditions and the management, and just being in that bubble of surgery. So that's been really fun, and I'm sure I would have enjoyed that aspect no matter where I was placed, just because I just want to see surgical stuff happening. But yeah, we'll go into more detail about specifics, how I found it. How about you?
Yeah, well, I've enjoyed it as well. I guess less so than you. I'm more mixed in what I want to do, not 100% sure. I like surgery, but I'm also not close-minded about it, being like, yes, I want to do this, I want to do this.
Yeah, it's not all or nothing.
Yeah, I'm like, if there's something else that I find interesting, I will consider it as a career. But yeah, it's been really interesting going into theatres, seeing different parts of the surgery, like the anaesthetists, the surgeons themselves, the surgical wards.
Yeah, post-op.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
It's been a good mixed bag of stuff. So yeah,
it has been a bit different compared to the medicine block.
Yeah,
for me at least. Yeah. So, but we can touch on that when we talk about different things. So
I think one of the biggest things has been that because we've already had that first clinical experience. Mind you, we had smaller clinical bits before in third year where we went to a GP practice. We had a hospital visit every now and then. So we have had little taster days, but this was our first, Monday to Friday, 9 till 5 or 8 till 6 if you're doing surgery, and full on. And so kind of getting into that routine of turning up, being on the ward, seeing other staff members, and being part of that they call it operation colleague for us, being part of that clinical team. That's been really enjoyable, I think, to get us into it. And I think this second block I felt more comfortable on it doing that compared to the first block, because the first block I definitely felt like a spare part. I was just I don't know what I'm doing, whereas now I feel a bit more I still don't know what I'm doing and I'm not that helpful, but at least I've got a bit more structure and idea of what I want to get out of the day, and then I can do stuff and then just go and study the rest of the time.
But I feel there's a bit more confidence in what I need to do, because the first time you had different things that you had to get ticked off, different things you had to write about, and I wasn't 100% sure what I was supposed to do. So I ended up throughout all the 5 weeks I ended up having to do that. Whereas this time I'm all right, I gotta get this all this ticked off. Gotta do this, this, and this. And also there's an element of before I felt I had to stay a little bit longer, I had to be there. Whereas now I'm if I'm not learning, if I'm not if it's not helpful to me or to anyone else for me to be there, then I don't need to be there.
Yeah, it definitely makes you more efficient with your time. You maximize sort of, right, today I've got a full day, I can be on the ward, I can get into theatre if I need to, get some cases written up or practice some stuff. And then that's you've got a solid chunk of things that you need to get out of the way. And then, you know, you can take it easy. Like we get half days or days where we have self-study in the afternoon. So you know that those days you could come in and be a bit more chill and then go away and study. And then, I mean, we'll touch on it later on, but you definitely get a lot of the sort of FY1s, FY2s being like, you guys don't need to be here. And we're like, oh.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely a learning process, but definitely gaining more confidence and feeling like I'm supposed to be here and I deserve my place here and I shouldn't be sort of shunned or like ignored the whole time I'm there. So, confidence is building.
Yeah.
But anyway, should we start with teaching?
Yeah.
In a jokey way that we've been doing. You guys might have noticed our bottles.
Yep.
We jokingly like to say that we're sponsored by Ocean Bottle, this brand, sustainable drinksware brand. Yep. They have some really cool products. So if you guys are looking for a good water bottle, flask. Multi-purpose, like my favorite thing is that you could take this off and it becomes like a little cup. So it's so handy, but I found it really cool on placement, like just having it, and it keeps your drinks nice and cold the whole day or really hot the whole day. So
before we move on, not sponsored, but we just really like it.
We just love the product.
We love the product. They've got this. They've got a smaller size. They've got a flask. They've also got like a sort of like a go product that you can take with running, gym, that sort of thing.
I've seen that on their website.
And it's more so like what they stand for and what they do. Like you buy the bottles, they help clean the ocean, make the ocean environment safer for animals, that sort of thing. Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys are like, why are you guys always wrapping them in your stories? Or like, I always see you guys carrying these bottles around. Like I've seen a few other students have them as well. And I'm like, oh my God, they're like Ocean Bottle crew. So yeah, highly recommend. And if you are an Ocean Bottle employee or owner and you fancy sponsoring a certain podcast that is talking about you right now, then feel free to drop us an email.
Message us on Instagram.
Exactly.
Just, you know, reach out.
We don't bite.
We're very open.
We're very friendly.
Okay,
back to the show.
Yeah.
So teaching. How do we rate the teaching at GRI?
So the teaching itself, I feel like it's not as, in my last block there was a lot more that was happening, like the CTF really involved in what we were doing. There was like lots of like bedside teaching, there was lots of lectures, sort of like small group teaching, larger group teaching, whereas here there's a little bit less going on.
Right.
There's less like lectures, we had that one bedside teaching, like our mock OSCEs were quite short, but the teaching itself, like the content that we've covered during the teaching,
that's been good.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think the amount has like dropped, but it's a bigger hospital. There's a lot more of us, at least for me, than there was in Paisley.
More or less, yeah. Similar number size, but less of the CTFs, the teaching fellows. So it feels a lot more of us there together. Yeah.
So like in terms of the teaching itself, I think like people are still willing to teach you. They're willing to like give you time of day. If you don't know something, ask a question. They will explain it.
Yeah.
So I'd still give it about 6.5, 7 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I feel the same. Like in air, there's a lot more of the CTFs. So even just having a supervisor, our supervisors now are like a lot of the consultant surgeons, which is great in terms of like if you chat to them and like ask for advice about a career in surgery and stuff like that. But it's not so great in terms of like trying to get a hold of them because they're all busy all the time. So you're like, oh, you're in theatre, I can't just see you. Whereas in air, the CTFs were like chilling. So like they were working, but you could more easily contact them and then they'd be like, yeah, I can set up a meeting with you later on. So in that regard, I didn't feel super well, I wouldn't say super well supervised, but more like I had a lot more autonomy. And as well, the CTFs and air did the teaching, so they spent more time with us, so they knew what we wanted out of teaching. Whereas here, they don't spend as much time with us. They come in for the like set teaching sort of things. So I don't know. The teaching's mapped up to our ILOs, so I felt like it was all useful content, like things that we needed to learn, and like the way they delivered it was very good. Very easy to talk to all of the teaching staff, very helpful with everything. But same as you, like I probably would have liked to have a bit more hands-on teaching throughout the fight, because 5 weeks is a lot, and we only had like one bedside the whole time, and then one case-based discussion thing. So yeah, stuff like that. Small group teaching, I think I would have preferred more, but it's been okay.
Yeah.
I'd say 7.
Okay, yeah. So next we're going to talk about a bit the clinical environment.
Yeah.
So that includes like the hospital itself, the staff, the environment, the facilities. Yeah. So just touching on that, do you want to start?
Yeah. It's a huge hospital. Like it's so big. I think day one we go to like specifically the uni area that they've made just for us as students, and it's lovely. It's like new, modern. First week we got there, we didn't have access badges, so they were like, you need an access badge to get anywhere in this hospital. If you don't have one, you've got to go by this very long convoluted route to get down to the bottom of the building, to go all the way up again in a lift and go across and blah, blah, blah. So that was a bit annoying, but we got the cards and it was fine. Once you kind of get familiarized with where you need to go, it's actually not that bad. But day one, you're all like, what the hell? Our bit was modern, but other parts of the hospital are like kind of old. So you do get that like old school hospital vibe, sort of like dingy corridors, like sort of, you're like, if you don't like hospitals, you probably would be a bit like, oh. But the modern parts were nice. They're like standard. And cafeteria, actually the food was not great, I'm not gonna lie. The food was amazing in the cafeteria, like it was so tasty. Here I had burger and chips like 1 week and I was like, no. And then there's this cafe they have in there that I went for like a roll. I think it was a burger, and that was actually nice, but like that's the only thing that, like, the only place I've had nice food apart from like WH Smith to get a sandwich. But yeah, overall I think it's good. It's accessible as well, so it's like city centre, so just bus and train, things like that. So yeah, I'd say overall it's a good hospital. It's just big, it's a bit overwhelming, and you need an access card to get around anywhere.
Yeah. There's like a lot of corridors, there's a lot of like pathways, not all of them accessible to us from certain people.
We've learned the hard way.
We learned the hard way. You're not allowed wherever you want to get to where you want to go.
Yeah, someone will be yelling at you if you're in the wrong place. We found that out.
Yep. But it's a big hospital. It takes a long time to get used to sort of where you're going. But every time I seemed a bit lost, there would be like someone eventually that would be like, are you lost? Where are you trying to go?
Yeah, I think I've gotten to the habit of, if I know where I'm going, I need to go somewhere, like head down or on my phone, and I look at the part, like I know where I'm going. But if I am not sure, if I'm just a bit like curious about stuff, I just put on the lost medical student base, and there'll definitely be a nurse that comes along and they're like, are you all right, love? Like, where are you looking for? Like, and you're like, oh, here. And they're like, come with me. And you're like, okay.
Start looking like,
exactly. I would say the nurses, for the most part here, have been lovely. Like, you think because it's such a big hospital, it'd be easy for them to just be like, no, I don't know, you don't work on my ward. But like most of them have been so lovely. So
majority of them have been great
fun.
Just touching on like staff themselves, like in the wards, like doctors you meet, pretty nice. Surgeons, obviously, like big characters,
have a reputation.
Anywhere
you go,
they're very like mixed bag. Like even like day to day individual surgeons, like one day they'll be really like nice and teach you. Another day they'll like completely pretend you're not there.
So I think it's been interesting seeing the stereotypes, because you definitely have like the surgeon stereotype, like maybe not the best social skills, maybe not the warmest bedside manner, but very talented and skilled in what they do. And then you get the ones that are very keen to teach, very like get you involved, like let you scrub in and stuff like that, so you feel like, okay, I'm in. And then the anaesthetist. So before I started, I didn't really know many anaesthetists, and I didn't like maybe fully understand the job role, but we had a whole week where we got to shadow, and that was really good. And I feel like they're the nicest bunch, like honestly. So couldn't fault any of them. They were all super like keen to teach you, keen to draw you into anesthetics. And I think because they said their training is very like one-to-one with like a consultant, and then use your training. You do build really good relationships. So all of them had like really good like people skills. So you felt like looked after.
Yeah, I could see them talking to people, like patients who are about to go through surgery.
Yeah, exactly.
So like talking to them, making sure they're okay.
Yeah,
asking them general questions. They really care about
what they're doing.
And
because it's quite important. Like their part of it. Okay, yeah, they're not doing the actual surgery, but like they're responsible for like your life and death in that situation. So like, yeah, you can tell they have a manner about them that like what you would want if you were going into surgery and about to be put under, who is like the last sort of person you'd want to be there with you. Obviously you can't have your family there, but you want someone that's relaxed and calming and soothing and stuff, and that's exactly what they are. Like they're all very like peaceful.
Yeah. So like in general, like with the like surgeons, like they are very like knowledgeable, they are very smart, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
People skills, again, mixed bag.
Yeah.
As a whole, like mixed bag, but on a day-to-day basis as well. Like I said, like one day they'll be really like warm and approachable to you. Next day they might be like busy and like might not have enough time for you.
Yeah.
But it really does depend on like like overall, it's still been a positive experience. I'd say.
There's been no like sense of like you shouldn't be here or talking down to you or bullying you or anything like that I've experienced personally. I feel like I have heard from other people that they've maybe had like more negative experiences. So it's always interesting I think it's interesting to hear and like get that perspective from other people, because then you can sort of, if you then have an encounter with that same person, you can adjust how you go into it. It's not to say you like put on a mask and you're totally fake and whatever, but you can just be like, okay, I'm naturally a chatty person. I've heard such and such can be a bit moody. I'm maybe not going to go into the theatre and be chit chatty. I'll be a bit more like reserved and just speak when spoken to kind of thing. Whereas other people, you go in and they'll have a good chat with you. Like they'll be like, yeah, let's talk about this and let's talk about that. And you're like, oh my goodness, yeah, okay, let's do it. And then you're like, oh, me and you are best mates, but you're not. But like, it feels like it.
Yeah, definitely. But
so yeah, what would you rate it then in terms of clinical environment overall?
Overall, I probably give it a similar rating to the first teaching category that we talk about. I'd probably give it about 6.5, 7 again.
Okay. I would give it an 8. I feel like for being a big hospital, there's a lot more potential for people to be like just rude and cut you off and just like not care that you're there. But for the most part, people have been like, yeah, you're part of the clinical team. Like, you need to learn. You're here to learn. Like, there'll be times where I introduce myself. I'm like, oh, I'm just a medical student. And they'd be like, you're not just a medical student. And I'd be like, thank you.
Like, your job's important.
Exactly.
As
well. Your job of holding your piece of paper and asking to be signed in for attendance is just as important as mine. I'm like, okay.
And then, like, other people are a bit more territorial. They're like, you shouldn't be near me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but you come across them wherever you go. So I think for it being such a big hospital, I think overall it was actually a lot better than I was expecting. Yeah. Probably.
Okay. And last of all would be the social aspect. So like, we both said in the last one, I think we had positive social experiences in the last placements we were at.
Yeah.
How does this one compare to your last experience?
I would say,
and like overall in general.
I would say, I don't know. I feel like I'm quite a social person. So like, I will just chit chat to everyone. It's good seeing a lot of familiar faces as well on this block. So there's maybe like more people in this block that I knew already going into it. So then it's good to see them, catch up, find out how their last placements have been going, and then just sort of like help each other out, you know, tips and advice, because we might be in the same block, but we have slightly different timetables and schedules. So then one person's done something before you, then you ask like, okay, how was it, and things like that, and kind of share advice and things like that. So in that social aspect, it's been good. But I think because most of us live in Glasgow or like live in and around Glasgow, we kind of go to our own lives when you leave the hospital. Whereas in Air, we like went back to live together. Like it's like a big school trip. So I think there's less like doing stuff socially together afterwards, like going for drinks or like having a party together, going into town together. Like everyone's just like, no, I've got stuff to do, so see you later. So that bit's a bit like, oh, but I don't know, like it's what you expect. You're in a big city, everyone's got their lives, like it's not a school trip all the time.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I think overall it's been nice to catch up with everyone and have that kind of unit. What about you?
Yeah, somewhere like there was people that I knew, people that I hadn't met before, so it was like mixed bag, like you meet new people. Everyone's been pretty nice, like really nice to talk to, meet for the first time for some people. And with like my last block, it would be like since there was like less of us and like medicine wasn't as like varied in terms of like what you're doing each week, because like we're all doing different things, like some are in theatre, some are in wards, so like what we're doing under like timetables is very varied. Whereas in medicine it was like, oh, we're all going to the wards, so like we all like would finish roughly at the same time. We'd go to the wards together, we'd come back and have lunch together. We'd have lunch part 2. We'd have lunch and then we'd have lunch again in the cafe.
Everyone come chill.
It's like we have lunch in the doctor's bit, and then we'd all go down and have lunch at the cafe.
That's the thing, we don't really do that. People have such different timetables, so like you'd come down for lunch and then someone else is like, oh, I'm still in theatre, or oh, I have a meeting with my supervisor, or so it is a lot more varied. But I think that's what I was saying at the start, because this is our second block, I feel a lot more confident and comfortable being on my own. So me wandering down into theatre, going into an operation, if this was my first block and like my first week of my first block and they were like, off you go on your own into surgery with a consultant, trying to be like, hi, and they're grilling you about the procedure that's going on, I probably would have been like, cry. But now I'm just like, cool, I know what I know what I don't know, there's no fear. So yeah, I think overall socially I'd give it probably 6.5, just because you don't see each other that much. I love everyone that we're with, but we don't get to spend a lot of time together apart from when we have teaching. I'd
probably say the same 6.5, 7. But like another aspect of that was with like the amount of like large group teachings that we had, like we all would see each other, like in the teaching, we'd catch up, talk about what happened, just general chit chat. Even with the CTFs, like because we saw them so often, we'd end up chatting with them as well, and they'd be in on our jokes, like everything that's happening as well. Whereas here, like we have like one teaching a week, and it's from like different doctors, surgeons, STs, whatever. So like it's harder to like
build that
see each other often. Like you have your lunch, and then someone else comes in just as you're leaving. You might like walk into like a surgery and someone else might be there, but like they're in a different part, and you might be like having to like leave halfway through to like go do something. So
it makes it more like what I think we're gonna be in our career, like how our career is gonna be. Like we've spent so much time together, first, second, third year, lectures and stuff like that. But obviously going forward, we're gonna be more independent, more on our own in certain environments. We could be the only one that we know in a certain block or rotation, especially now with the random junior doctor allocations. Like we could just be anywhere in the country, and we're gonna have to have that sense of like, okay, I'm on my own, don't know anyone here, but I'm gonna have to make it work. And as daunting as it is, experiences like this help you kind of like, okay, it's great if I know someone, but at the same time, if I don't know anyone, it's fine, I'll make friends. And like keep going.
100%.
And if you're not sure about making friends, you should watch our previous episode with Ananya, where we talk about making friends.
That is true.
You could apply the same principles to a placement. So how would you rate it? 6.5, you said?
I'd probably say 6.5-ish. So like, overall, I'd probably give this placement in general, since we're in it last week, I'd probably give it about 7.
Overall.
Because like, I've enjoyed what we're doing more. But like the general like around what we're doing, like the actual content, it's been a bit like mixed, more mixed, as opposed to the last block where I wasn't as interested in like what was happening. But the teaching was great. The like people were great. The staff were really nice. Like everything around it was really nice. So it really elevated the whole block for me.
I would say the same. I think I'm excited and I was excited, and I still am, and I really enjoyed the kind of clinical stuff that we got to see here, the different conditions that people had, the surgeries that were going on. That was really cool. But in terms of like still having my student cap on and being like, oh, I need to like have supervision, and I need to get cases done, and I need, you know, meetings and stuff like that. That was not as like easy to get sorted because everyone's just busy. So yeah, I think overall I'd give it like a 7.5.
Okay.
Overall, but still pretty decent.
Okay.
I think my expectation of it was lowered because I'd heard that whole central hospitals worse than the district hospitals for teaching. So like you're gonna have a terrible time. You have to do everything on your own, and it's gonna be just like you're just gonna feel like crap basically. But actually, I've been pleasantly surprised, and I've been like, you know what, I've actually enjoyed it, and I've got a lot out of this block. So yeah. And what's your next block?
So I am doing a sort of like pediatric ENT sort of hearing based SSC at the Children's Hospital.
At the QE.
At the
Yeah. And then I'm staying at GRI, so that'll be fun. Just get to continue. Doing 5 weeks of pelvic surgical oncology. So another surgical block essentially in GRI. So that should be fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna feel part of the fabric of the place and be like, I work here too.
Yeah. I mean, I guess sometimes that's better. Like you don't have to relearn how to like navigate a place, whereas like going to a new hospital.
Yeah. Where do I put my locker?
Like, how do I get here? How do I get there?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna just be there forever. So that's fun. That's fun. But yeah, so if you've got any questions about like if you're about to start placement or you're about to go to GRI or even the other two, Paisley or Ayr, if you're anything you want to ask, let us know. We'll try and answer, help you guys out. And also, if you guys are on placement and you're listening, you've got some fun stories that you've seen cool things or heard some interesting stuff, let us know and come on and talk about it. We definitely, we want to get some of you guys on and like talk about your experiences, some fun cases and stuff, and just sort of share your experience.
Yeah, and you can come on, or you could just message us what's like the story, and we can just like tell it if you want, or you could just message us the story in general, like if you just want to like share what's happened,
like a story time. More than happy to take that on.
Yeah, we thought since like we haven't done it in a while, we thought we would restart the hot seat, which our plan originally was to sort of in a more chill, like sort of like no real like main discussion topic episodes. We were gonna do that.
Yeah.
But just to like start off, we're gonna do one here, and we're changing up the hot seat a wee bit.
Yeah.
Before they've been a bit more
themed
and like topic based on like what we're talking.
Yeah.
We figured it might be a bit better if it's a more general knowledge based hot seat.
Make it a little bit more wider scope. Just fun, basically. A bit of fun, bit of a quiz. Yeah. And obviously, if we get you guys on, you guys will all be on hot seat. Just a little warning. And we will have our leaderboard. We need to add Ananya because she came in and just had an amazing...
Beat us,
topped any of our scores. So we'll get you guys on, get you guys doing hot seat and see who actually ends up on top.
Yeah.
If we can get some more people this side of term, then we'll definitely have a leaderboard and see who finishes top and bottom. And whatever punishments they have or prizes they have.
Just wrapping up. We're gonna
do hot seat.
Do hot seat for
Is it my turn?
1 minute. I have some questions ready for you.
Let me have a sip of water, prepare myself. I'm quite nervous now.
General knowledge questions. If you know the answer, you can answer. If you don't, you can pass.
3, 2, 1, go.
Who was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize?
Marie Curie.
What is the longest river in the world?
The Nile.
Which famous composer wrote The Four Seasons?
Fuck.
And what is the smallest bone in the human body?
Oh, is that what the inner ear ones? The incus.
What is the chemical symbol for silver?
Ag.
What is the oldest continuously inhabited city in the world? What ancient wonder of the world was located in what is now modern day Iraq? Which scientist is known for his theory of general relativity? Who wrote the famous novel? I'll finish this one. Oh. Who wrote the famous novel War and Peace?
Sorry, I don't know how to stop my timer. Oh, I don't know. Oh my god. Okay, stop. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so we'll finish that one. Who wrote the famous novel War and Peace?
Dostoevsky.
Okay, so the first question.
I did so badly in that.
The first question. Who was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize? You said?
Marie Curie.
And you were correct.
Okay.
The second question. What is the longest river in the world? You wrote. You answered.
The Nile.
And you were correct. That's 2.
Oh.
Which famous composer wrote the Four Seasons?
I said Bach.
Antonio Vivaldi.
I should have known that. That's stupid. Okay.
That's okay. What is the smallest bone in the human body? You said the incus.
Yeah.
It is the stapes.
Oh no! So close. Okay.
What is the chemical symbol for silver?
Ag.
It is Ag.
Yes.
What is the oldest continuously inhabited city in the world?
Yeah, I was thinking like the capital of Iran. I don't know why.
Okay.
Where was it?
It's Damascus in Syria.
I'm not too far regionally though, right? Okay, that's all right. I don't.
So you're on 3 right now. Which ancient wonder of the world was located in what is now modern day Iraq?
I said Hanging Gardens of Babylon.
And you were correct.
Yes, she knows some stuff. I love it.
So you're on 4. Which scientist is known for his theory of general relativity?
Einstein.
And the last question. Who wrote the famous novel War and Peace?
Dostoevsky.
Leo Tolstoy. Tolstoy.
Oh, okay, I was very wrong. I was thinking Crime and Punishment. That's why. Okay. 5.
So you got 1, 2, 3, 5. 4, 5. Yeah. 5 out of 1, 2, 3, 4,
8,
5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not too bad.
That's above 50%. That's a pass.
Yeah, 5 out of 9. It's not too bad.
Okay, I feel proud.
It's a good start.
It's a good, solid start. Yeah, okay, those questions weren't terrible.
Yeah.
Definitely general knowledge. Definitely general knowledge.
Try to get like a good mix. Like some medicine, some like geography.
Yeah. Some history
sort
literature.
Of things. Literature.
I like that. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I think we should continue.
I think that's how we'll continue it, just in general knowledge.
Yeah.
So if you would like to come on and take on the hot seat, just let us know.
I think you could do better than 5 out of. I'm sure you guys all did better at home, but yeah, let us know. But
anyway, that will wrap up our episode for today.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
As always, you can catch the episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date.
Well, have a lovely day, guys.
Thank you guys for watching. Bye.
Bye.